Give us an idea this time. What do you want to hear from the president in his first State of the Nation address? What's on your wish list, especially when it comes to priority legislations or economic measures?
Well, first of all, we know that the president is holding as well is the in charge of the agriculture portfolio. So we'd like to see what's the roadmap for this in view of our issue on the food supply. We know very well that the food commodity prices have been going up. Primarily is because of external factor and also because of the supply chain. So that is top of mind on the agriculture side. The other thing that is of concern is the inflation that we're facing. Again, this is brought by international cost push impact. But I think DTI, we haven't heard too much from DTI about the increase in prices in food commodity and related grocery items. I think this has to be addressed in view that the salary of the working people may not be able to cover it. The other item that we'd like to get a direction is now that we have a Secretary of Energy, Popo Lotilla, that we can have a roadmap on the energy situation, and I hope that the president will give push for the more grid to be installed, so that areas where there's oversupply of power, the power can be redirected to areas that needs power. So those are some of the items that I think should be on top of mind for the president.
Sir, these are all items that might take a long time to achieve, no? So even the agricultural supply side issue as well as the energy issue, of course, these are things that will be a roadmap, as you mentioned. But what do you want to hear from the SONA with regard to short-term things that need to be achieved in the agri and energy sector to fight the inflation at the moment, sir?
Well, short-term wise, of course, the travel and leisure business is starting to open up. We're seeing our local tourism business picked up, and we've been reading about the increase in tourism in our ASEAN neighbors. We're lagging behind, and I hope this is considered a low-hanging fruits, travel and leisure, and the government should give focus to this. No? Again, this is not only create jobs, but it's a foreign currency earner. We are, as of 2019, prior to the COVID pandemic, we are, I think, the fourth in the ASEAN. Of course, we have the biggest in Thailand, which is almost 40 million, and Vietnam, which is about, I believe, 26 or 27 million. Philippines, we have about 8 to 9 million. So there's still an upside for us to really attract tourists to visit our country and help generate more economic activity on the ground.
Now, Sir George, earlier you were mentioning about the need for an energy roadmap here, especially with the appointment of a secretary or the nomination of Secretary Lotilla. In regards to that point, how have business conditions deteriorated, especially when we're talking about increases in energy costs, and not to mention logistical costs as well, and even supply gaps? How much has cost of doing business increased here in the country?
Well, on the energy side and transport, we can see we've already seen an increase of 30%. Of course, we're happy to note that the gasoline and diesel prices has rolled down a bit. This is a good sign, but it may not be sustainable because it's beyond our control. No? Basically, this depends on the geopolitical situation between Russia and Ukraine. But having said that, the increase on transport, and especially in the agriculture, one of the impact is the increase in urea, in fertilizer. I've been talking to people in the agri business, and they said they've been quite concerned because definitely this increase will be passed on to the consumer. So energy-wise, in the northern Luzon, there's a bit of concern because our water level in our dam has been critical, and last couple of months we have a couple of yellow alert. Okay? In the base load power generation in Mindanao is quite high. It's more than what they need. And I think if there's more grid connectivity, so that the power can be channeled to where it's needed, and that would help. And I think that can be immediately given the mandate by the president. That can be immediately done by the national grid.
Sir, let's shift over towards the weakness of the peso. No, the weakest we've seen in 2 decades, which may bode well for remittances, may bode well for exporters. Sir, what's the net effect on the exporters? Because even as, of course, that would increase their inflows, it may also, the weakness of the peso may also as an impact on the importing parts that they need to do as well to be able to create such products, for example, semiconductors. Is the net effect positive, or is it still tilted towards the downside?
The net effect, Danny, on the exporters, no? I think because a lot of our exporters are their components on the raw material are imported, so that more or less cancels out, no? But
Okay.
it's still beneficial that what they'll be receiving is in dollar, and the labor cost and all the overhead, no, is in peso. So there's a plus to exporters. Of course, ang malaking plus talaga is for the OFW. Ang remittance nila translate to about, as of now, it's almost like 9% increase in remittances converted to peso. Okay. But the downside on the exporters also is their shipping cost.
Okay.
There's the shipping cost has gone up quite a bit, and these are all dollar denominated. So this is something that will affect also the overall performance of exporters.
Okay, so it's not completely clear there whether it's completely beneficial then to exporters, the weak peso, but as you mentioned, for remittances, that could be a boon. Sir, your reaction or the chamber's reaction to the infra push hitting a roadblock with these 3 China deals hitting a snag, sir? Is this something that was expected? Is this something that might spell more delays in investors from foreign countries coming in?
Danny, you're referring to the 3 projects, infrastructure projects that are supposed to be financed by the Chinese government.
Correct, sir. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think from what I've read that the cancellation of these projects really was also on the delay in due diligence. Okay, on I believe on both sides.
Okay.
We're in the government, and in view of what is happening now, I think interest rates has gone up. Even before then, there was some question as the high interest rate that is being charged to these projects. So it's worth studying, but the need of this infrastructure, the 3 projects, is still there. Okay.
Okay.
So I would like to think that the government, the Department of Public Works, would, when given the time and given to make due diligence, they will reopen and restudy where we can get the financing for these 3 projects.